What's up guys, it's Zilan with another product review. This time I'm going to take a look at the bloody A90 gaming mouse from A4Tech, which is targeted for the first person shooter gamers. Now this isn't a sponsored review, so I can go all out with the pros and cons. I have been using this mouse for almost 2 weeks now, and I must admit that it's very satisfying. Taking a look at the physical features of this mouse, it has a braided USB cable with a red and black theme. I personally would always love to see a braided USB cable, so this is a big plus. You could see on the left and right click button that it has a textured rubberized finish. I find this very helpful because I could have a better grip at the mouse so that my fingers won't slide off, which makes up for its soft textured body. It has a matte finish which my hands does not agree with. It took me a couple of days to get used to it, but after that I was all set. The scroll wheel feels really nice, which bloody calls it the infrared scroll wheel. At the side of the mouse you have another rubberized texture for easy grip, and as well as 2 programmable buttons. I personally set this to DPI changer so I could set sensitivity quickly when I'm playing a first-person shooter game and need to change my weapon to a sniper. The software is pretty straightforward. At the button tab you have your window to set assignments to any of your 9 programmable buttons. Here you have your profiles where you can customize each of them for the game you're playing. For example, I can set a profile for an RPG game, another for a first-person shooter game, and another profile for a standard web browsing. By clicking on the color at the side of the profile, a color field pops up where you can use to change the color of your LEDs and save them to the profile you have chosen. At the sensitivity tab, you have your DPI settings where you can set the value for each increment or decrement you click on a button you've programmed it to. I love how the illumination is also included in the scroll wheel, but the only drawback here is that you can't customize the color. The color changes but not for customization but for indication purposes. If I was to change my current core in the software to core 2, I could click the button labeled 1 on the mouse to set it to 1 shot, which is color red, button N to set it to 2 shot burst, which is green, and button 3 for 3 shot burst, which is orange. I know in this video it seems like there aren't any color difference between button 1 and 3, and that's because of the camera that I am using. This also has different lighting effects which are breathing, where it fades on and off on the color of your profile, full color loop where it loops to all of the enabled profile and their color, and the last thing is a changing color, where the color changes with each click. The drawbacks I found was if that I was to set the profile's color to none, all values to 0, meaning the LEDs are off, it would still give out a small light rather than it being turned off. I did find a workaround, but rather than turning only the body's LED off, it turns off the scroll wheel as well. It would be really nice to have a profile with the LED completely off to have a casual mode where I'm not doing anything but just the usual stuff like web browsing. And lastly, I really don't understand why they are selling the Core 3 and 4 modes separately. Why in the world would you do that? This is absolutely the worst con that I've found when reviewing this gaming mouse. Oh well. Kidding aside, they did state in their software that the reason behind that is because to make the peripheral itself cheaper, and not all people need the features included in Core 3 and 4, but nonetheless it would have still been a nice feature to have. Now to give my final thoughts about the mouse. Starting with the cons, the LED design does not look good. It looks a bit complicated and I would rather much prefer a more simple looking design on the body. Another is that I can't customize the color of the scroll wheel. Some of you won't mind, but I do. It would have been nice to give you full color customizability over the mouse. The color accuracy on this thing is a bit off. The basic colors look okay, but when I set it to other ones in the bloody 5 software, it feels like they are just turning the intensity up and down. And as I've mentioned before, the biggest drawback I have found is the fade features on the software. Now to the good stuff of this mouse, it is cheap considering the other competitors. And other mice at this price point don't have some of the features that this one has. It has enough programmable buttons for all kinds of games. I am also loving the rubberized thumb grip it has because it gives me more control while holding the mouse. It has a great physical design for ergonomics and for people with big hands. I am coming from a perspective of a person who just moved from a generic office mouse to this one, and it has never felt so better. So you may be asking, is this the mouse for me? If you're looking for something with awesome design and ultra exclusive features, then this may not be for you. But if you're looking for comfort for long hours of gaming and convenience through programmable buttons and don't care about the LEDs and whatnot, then this is for you. At a cheap price, I can't really complain. It's great and I even use this as my daily driver. So that concludes my review. Hit like if you liked it, dislike if you disliked it, and don't forget to hit subscribe.